This week on NintenDomain, we answer the age-old question, what is better, Aladdin on Super Nintendo or Genesis?
And we save a monkey from a pyramid.
And I'm one step ahead of the red line.
Welcome to NintenDomain, episode 79. We are your hosts. I'm Trey, third time downloading Splatoon 2, Johnson.
I'm Jeremy, Street Rat Mikowski.
And we have our friend of the show, our special
John
guest.
Riff Raff Knitter.
John Riff Raff Knitter here.
John Riff Raff Knitter is here.
Is here to
He's in the house.
To help settle the age-old question of what is better, Aladdin on Super Nintendo or Genesis, as we said in our intro. But that will be our topic, so we're going to get to that later. But first, let's talk about the news real quick. Have you got yourself a Switch yet, Mr. Knitter?
Not yet. So it's nearly within sight.
It's
coming up soon.
Have you seen
Probably
one?
by the next time I'm on.
We both found them in the wild. Have you caught any down there? I mean, I found them at Target. I found like 4 at Target.
Oh, you've seen more than just that one?
I've never seen them in the wild. The only one I've ever seen was when my friend let me borrow it at work. But that was it. I've not seen one out at any stores or anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw 1 and then I saw 3. Well, I didn't, just saw 3 after that. So there's been 4 in the wild that we've seen at Target. So, but if you keep looking, I think you'll find them. I mean, if you're actually looking for it, you should be able to find it. Did you, I know you got a NES Classic, right? Like you sent me a thing about that, right?
So I got one, then I had a moral dilemma because I wanted to get one for my niece and nephew. And I thought, do I keep it for myself to give it to the kids? And I decided to give it to the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because I played all those games so many times, and I thought they'd get some better use out of it. And they certainly have. My little nephew, last report is that he plays it every single day since I gave it to him like 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
So, what does he play?
Yeah, he's just turned 5, and he tells me that he loves the motorcycle game, as he calls it, Excite Bike.
Oh, yeah.
And lately he's been playing Zelda, so I'm very happy for that. And actually, it was his birthday about a week ago, so I schemed, and I thought, what can I do to get him to play more Zelda? I bought him the Ocarina of Time manga.
Cool.
So now so he loves that book. He says, I love that book. It's so funny. So, of course, now I told my sister when she got the book, it's a manga, right? So you read it, back to front.
Yeah. Right to left.
Right to left, back to front. My sister said she was so confused. Like, what is wrong with this book? They printed it backwards. I said, no, it's a manga. And I said, it's the wrong book to get a 5-year-old who's just learning how to read.
Yeah, it might be a little confusing.
I'm going to confuse the hell out of him, but, hopefully he loves it. So
he probably likes the pictures.
Maybe that's why it's so funny.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's why it's funny, because it's backward.
I have a comic book of the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past comic strip from Nintendo Power, like collected in a trade paperback, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I found it at the comic store that I go to. I haven't read it, but it looks cool. I've looked at it.
They have a collection of the Mario Brothers ones too, the same publisher, I believe.
Yeah, I think I'm sure they have the Metroid stuff too, because they used to do a Metroid comic series also. And I know there's like a Twilight Princess manga that just came out too, not that long ago, that you can get. So. Yeah,
it's the same person who puts it out. Actually, as I was looking at the Zelda manga from my nephew, the author of those books, I read somewhere that it's actually a pseudonym. It's not a real person. It's 2 women who write under the name. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but it's not a real person.
Oh.
The same person does all those books. Yep. Same 2 people.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like Zelda writer. It's like ZW or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it bothers you that there's a Zelda game out that you haven't played. Well, you haven't played Link Between Worlds either, though, right?
I've not played Link Between Worlds. Look, I've got a couple of Zelda crimes on my list. So I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I've got Oracle of Seasons and Ages. I didn't play those. I have Spirit Tracks. I've never played it. Link Between Worlds, and now Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So I have a lot to catch up on.
was going to say you could just buy a Wii U, but I don't think you can buy those anymore because they took them off the shelves.
Yeah, because they're done with them.
Yeah, unfortunately. And you know what else? Speaking of which, you know what else they're done with? I just saw. We'll just jump into the news. I saw that the regular size 3DS, like the regular size new 3DS, is not being made anymore.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
Production.
So we're never going to get that Black Friday version, right? Which, I mean, I never saw anyway.
Damn it.
I remember when that came out, I thought that it was going to be, I was like, oh cool, like the 3DS will be $99 now everywhere. That's a great idea. They'll sell a ton of systems, you know? And it was like, no, it was $99 for that day. So if you didn't go get it that day, fuck you. But I ended up, I bought one of those smaller, I wanted to get that Black Friday one for my girlfriend because it was like cheap enough. I just wanted to get her a 3DS. And, of course, I couldn't find it because I thought that it would be available everywhere because I'm stupid and I didn't think that I had to go there, like, on the day and all that. But, and I ended up buying her the Animal Crossing one, like, on eBay for not that much more. I think I got it for, like, $130 or something. But, yeah, I always thought those little ones were cool. And you have one, too, right, Jeremy, or do you have two of them?
Of the regular size new 3DS?
Yeah, you have the Mario Maker one, right?
I have the one, it was the Mario one that came with Mario 3D Land pre-installed.
Yeah, it's the one with the faceplates. So you won't be able to change your faceplates anymore if they're stopping production on those.
Yeah, but I've never been able to find any of the faceplates I want anyway.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one time I ordered those ones from Japan and they never came, and the guy just gave me a refund, and those faceplates are like really expensive now. I was paying like $30 for them, which is already stupid.
Yeah,
and they're a lot more now.
Oh yeah, 30's pretty. That's pretty high. I mean, those faceplates better look pretty awesome.
That faceplate, man, I want it so bad. It's the
Hanafuda, right? Yeah.
It's like a Hanafuda, like a Boo, and I think it might be. I can't remember now, but it looked fucking cool.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm sad.
I have the Hanafuda or a Hanafuda background on my 3DS. I don't remember if I paid anything for that or not. I might have paid like 99 cents or something for it, but it's pretty rad. I have that background, and I have the wrestler thing from Rhythm Heaven, the Dubba Dubba Dubba, is that true? I have that background, too.
Oh, cool.
So I switched between those two. And I have, like, a free Sonic one and some other crappy ones that were free. But
Sonic Lost Worlds.
Yeah, something like that. The ones they were handing out for free. Or Sonic Boom, I don't know. It's one of those guys. But yeah, it sucks that 3DS, those small 3DSs are going away. I mean, they were already kind of limited. I mean, I feel like they were never really out there that much. But still. I always thought
the new Nintendo 2DS XL is out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll be out, right? I think it's at the end of the month. I don't think it's out quite yet, but it's pretty close.
Okay, but they're reviewing it and shit now.
Yeah, people have their versions and all that, so they're trying to push that. But I mean, I always I jumped the gun because my 3DS was dying at the time. You know, like the buttons were kind of going, so I had to get a new one. So I got the new 3DS like right when it came out, the new 3DS XL. But I always kind of wished I had a smaller one, but I never really pulled the trigger to get like the regular sized one because that would make it more portable. So I always kind of wanted that, but now it's gone. Now I'll just have to get a door stopper, right? I'll just have to get the 2DS for like $40.
Yeah, next time we go to Disc Replay, buy one of those.
Speaking of Disc Replay, or not Disc Replay, live action games, I saw on Facebook that they have Splatoon 2 over there. They got it early.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I saw pictures of unopened Splatoon 2s, and he said that he was going to start selling some new games and see how that goes, like the owner was. I like them on Facebook, so I can see their updates and stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't think he sold new games. That makes sense. It's a new thing.
He does now. Well, he has some Splatoons. He has some Splatoon 2s, which if he only has the two that he showed online, then they'll be gone pretty quickly, I'm sure.
Probably.
Speaking of, do you want to talk about Splatoon 2? I played the Splatfest over the weekend on Saturday. Were you able
Do you know who won, cupcakes or ice cream?
I think it was ice cream because I only played cakes like maybe 2 times.
Oh.
Because there's a lot more ice cream than cakes. You didn't get on, did you?
No, I had to work, unfortunately.
Yeah. I had to work too, but I was able to play for like an hour and a half. But it was, it's all right. You can't like level up at all or anything like that. So it's kind of like, you just pretty much play until it ends. That's how it works. But after I played it, I jumped onto Splatoon 1 and played that for a while. And there's still a ton of people playing that game. Like I had no hard time getting online and all that.
I can't wait to play the single player mode. That's what I'm like really excited about.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I've been trying to download mine for like the past like 2 hours. So I don't know if you heard or the internet heard, but the eShop kind of broke when Splatoon was released, which I should have expected, because I think everybody who has a Switch is probably buying Splatoon 2. Like probably
this
at least
will be something near the Zelda adoption rate, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's got to be like 90% or 90+% buying this, I would think. So, but I've been trying to. It took me like 20 times to get on the eShop because it kept like erroring every time I tried to connect to it, and it took me like 3 or 4 times before I could actually get through to the payment, like where the payment went all the way through. And now I'm just waiting for it to download. It's been doing the download cancel thing, so I'm hoping that it'll end. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get it sometime this week or today at some point, because I was hoping to play it later.
Wouldn't it be better just to run out to the store and get one?
I was thinking about running to Walmart tonight, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know of any 24-hour places here though in Chicago. I'd have to go to a suburb or something.
What do you think if it comes up tomorrow and it's still not able to download? Will you just make the decision to go to the store?
They already charged me for it, dude.
You already paid.
They're charged. Oh, you paid.
It's already out of my account. I don't think I can get them to refund it.
I want this game digital personally. Like, I'm willing to wait to get it to install correctly. I don't really want to buy a physical copy of this game.
Yeah. Well, thankfully they through some sort of update, like it won't mess up your card anymore. Like I reformatted my card so I could, so it wouldn't so it wouldn't be out of space. And now I have like 100 gigs available, thankfully. But, now instead of like starting a new partition every time it tries to download, it just has one that stays on the menu at all times. So it won't you won't lose like 20 gigs trying to download a 5 gig thing multiple times. So that's good. At least that's good. But yeah, it keeps telling me it's going to download in like 15 minutes and then it cancels at the last minute. So who knows? I'm still hoping for it. But speaking of downloading things, I got that Nico Nico app from the Japanese store. You can download that for free if you want to check it out.
Oh, it's all a bunch of Japanese videos.
It's like YouTube, except all the comments are on the TV at all times. It's like flying across the screen. It kind of, it's sort of like it's sort of like the Mario Maker levels, like when you turn the comments on, except not as bad. Do you remember that, where it like covers up like full parts of the level and you can't see
pretty bad,
and you can't see where you're going? It's kind of like that, but I found a bunch of game videos. You can watch like people play Mario Party and stuff like that on there. It's worth trying out. I mean, it's completely free. I had to go through like a couple menus and stuff before it actually started working on the system, but I don't know what all I went through in Japanese, but I ended up getting it finally on there. I got my first video game music on record in the mail this week.
What is that?
My girlfriend bought me the 20, I don't know what it is, like, what is it, the 20th anniversary, something like that, an anniversary of Ocarina of Time, and they released this double album called The Hero of Time, and there's like a 64-piece orchestra playing all the Zelda songs.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's like cool, it's like 2 records, and they look cool. There's like a green one and a red one, and they all have different heart pieces on them. It's like, 1 piece of heart and 2 pieces and 3 and 4, like to represent the different sides of like the record. But I think she reserved it like last year or like last Christmas or something, and it finally got sent. So it's been like she pre-ordered it a long time ago, but we finally got it. I've seen people online talking about like how they're afraid they're never going to get one or something, and I'm like, well, we got ours. It actually sent.
Is it a new recording, or is it a reissue of something that came out during the original Ocarina of Time?
No, it's a re-recording. It's an orchestra. It's an orchestration of the original stuff. So it sounds great. We listened to all of it on Monday, so it's enjoyable. I don't know if you can get a hold of it now, but I finally got a hold of some video game music. There's actually if you follow Data Discs, their website, they're actually like selling some stuff this Saturday too. I know there's like the Sonic Mania soundtrack on record is coming out this Saturday, or you can pre-order it this Saturday on their website, and you can also get like reprints of Streets of Rage 1 and 2, which I really, really want to get. So I'm going to try to order that. Maybe next week I'll let you know if it actually comes through. But yeah, it's pretty rad to have some video game music on record. That's something I've wanted to have for a while.
A radical soundtrack. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 2 is like one of my
electronic music.
Streets of Rage 2 is like one of my favorite soundtracks, so I would love to have that on record. Or like I'd like to have something that's like, digital on vinyl, which always seems weird, but it'd be cool. So that's something to look out for. I see you have Splatoon 2 downloading over there. Did you make it through?
How did you know?
I sensed it. I can sense other people downloading Splatoon. I take it you got through to the eShop pretty easy. Well, it's like,
I figured I'd give it a try.
It's a couple hours after release now, officially, so maybe everybody's like gone to sleep for the night or given up or,
It still is going to take like several hours to download.
or went to the bar to drink their sours away or something like that about not having Splatoon.
They actually went out with paint guns and are just spraying paint all over the place.
Yeah. They're going to paint the town red or pink or
and blue
green or whatever.
Cake colored.
I was pretty impressed at how many people are still playing Splatoon 1. And you know how you go into the hub world and it shows all the Miiverse posts there? All of them basically say it's everybody worrying about how long before this gets canceled after Splatoon 2 is out. Like when are they going to end the internet for this? So
is it just like a screenshot of the town looking up at the moon about to crash down on Zelda? Just how much longer do we have?
Yeah, the Majora's Mask moon is there, and it's countdown. Apparently there was an update for the Wii U that just came out this week, and if you get on Miiverse, it has a disclaimer saying that Miiverse will end for that soon. So that's sad. I'm wondering if it's going to end for 3DS. I got on Miiverse for 3DS the other day, and I didn't see any warning about the Miiverse ending for that. I figured if it ended for one, it should end for the other, right?
Would make sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I figured since the 3DS is still thriving that they could keep the Miiverse going.
Speaking of the Wii U, though, I have a coworker who said she just bought one recently. You can buy a refurbished Wii U through GameStop.
Yeah.
How much are they selling for?
$200.
That's not
so
bad.
That's how much it is if you buy it straight from Nintendo, the refurbished one, which is the one I got. She originally got it through, I guess there was a lightning deal through Amazon Prime. She ordered it and got the Wii U, and something was wrong with it and it didn't work. She sent it back and then was really disappointed, and then she went to check out GameStop, and supposedly they had them for $200. So there's someone I know that just bought a Wii U recently. That's
nice.
A handful of people I know that have owned them
to play Splatoon 1. What did she get it for?
No, she got it just because I'm not really sure why she got it. I guess for multiplayer games, she can play 2-player games with her boyfriend or something like that.
Yeah,
she was telling me.
Well, you can
buy. He has
a
PS4, but he just plays games that she doesn't like on it. So she wanted to get something that had the Marios and stuff like that they could play together.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good games on there. It's a great Zelda machine too. If you wanna, I was one of the guys I work with was talking about wanting to get it on Switch, and I was like, just get it on Wii U. You can buy that and 5 other Zelda games all on Wii U. If you wanted to. If you can find one, you could get that and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker and A Link to the Past and the original Zelda and Zelda 2 and all that stuff. So it could be a total Zelda machine for anybody who wants to. I mean, you can pretty much play all of them except for Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the ultimate Zelda machine is the 3DS, actually. You can get almost all of them except for, Wind Waker and above. But.
Yeah. But you can get all of those in their original form in Wii U also.
True.
So they're about the same, I think, minus a couple games.
Yeah, I've never beaten the Oracle of Seasons. I've beaten Oracle of Ages, and I never actually beat Minish Cap. Something happened in that game where I just gave up, and I don't know what it was.
Oh, really?
I'd have to start over again. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I
like Minish Cap a lot. I thought that game was
really
fun.
I never finished
Minish Cap on 3DS.
Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay.
No, I downloaded it on the 3DS.
Oh yeah, you had the Ambassador. I forgot.
I had the Ambassador one. Yeah,
I forgot you were a 3D. You were a 3DS Ambassador, so you got to experience that Game Boy Advance love that I always wanted. And I didn't. I wish I would have known. I remember you told me about some sort of deal that you could do where some places were selling it for less, but you still got the Ambassador. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
You emailed me about that, but I went and got a PSP instead because I'm an idiot. But because I wanted to play Final Fantasy Dissidia, which is still a great game. But yeah, I did that. But I thought that if I didn't, I made the mistake of thinking that if I didn't buy the 3DS and got the Ambassador stuff, that I could just buy them later, because I thought they would be available on the eShop, and they never were.
You were thinking logically. You weren't thinking like Nintendo.
I was thinking logically. I was like, well, I'll just buy them later. And I kind of bought it to play to play the Yoshi's Island Game Boy Advance thing on there. And of course, it never happened. So that's my sad story about Ambassador. But yeah, you did have it. What happened to that 3DS? Did you toss it?
I had to sell it at one point, so I regret it now. But yeah, I did have to sell it.
Did you get more money for it?
No, I think I got $50 or $60.
I figured since it was an Ambassador, maybe you'd get more cash for it.
Yeah, I didn't take it to a GameStop or anything. I took it to a pawn shop.
Oh, okay. Crap! Well, that sucks. So they didn't know didn't know the true value of it.
They didn't know the true value. No.
We should have taken it to True Value.
I should have.
You know, I don't think
They
really
know,
know.
they know the true value of it there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, true value. They really know the true value of a.
I mean, it's hardware, right?
I think, it is hardware.
I'm on download attempt number 4, by the way, on Splatoon 2. It just died again. So, for those of you at home keeping track, it still has not worked. How's your percentage over there?
Did pop up on your home screen?
What?
Where did that error message pop up? Just on your home screen where it was showing it downloading?
Yeah, I've just been keeping it on the download, so it's showing the bar and like where it's at. You know, like when you try to start it and it says you have to download it.
Oh, okay.
And then you just keep that box up that says like the time and the percentage. I've just been keeping that up until it gets to like 80% and then it kills itself.
It dies at 80%?
Yeah, like 70%, something like that. It has
a lot of gigs.
Well, it was 90% the time before, but it doesn't redo it, so it's better. But yeah, we'll keep you all in the know about our progress on Splatoon 2. That'll be our subject for next week, obviously. That'll be our big Splatoon episode.
Episode 80.
Episode 80 will be a Splatoon, for sure. A Splatoon episode.
Splatoon.
Did you see that the guys who made that hack for Smash Brothers are making a game now? The guys who made Project M? Did you catch any of that?
I just saw some about that briefly. I didn't read about it though.
I said there's a trailer out for it. It looks a lot like Smash Brothers.
Basically, they're trying to make their own Smash Brothers game.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Right?
It's on Steam. It doesn't show anything about it being on the Switch, or it's coming to Steam.
And these are the guys who made Project M.
Yeah, it's the guys who did that, and it's I forget what it's called. I watched the full trailer on it. Oh yeah, Icons Combat Area. That's what it's called. But yeah, they're making their own game. All I saw is a release for Steam, but they should put it on the Switch since there's no sign of Smash Brothers coming out anytime soon. They'd make some money off that. It looks very, very similar, like very much so. Like one of the characters looks a lot like Captain Falcon, and another character looks like Link, and I'm surprised they can do it without Nintendo saying anything. So, but I thought
weird that they're calling it Icons with characters who are clearly not icons.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. Once they
should call it substitutes.
Yeah, right. Or wannabes.
Wannabes. There you go.
Icons, is DJ Khaled going to be in it?
Oh, like Def Jam Icon, the last version of those games. Was he on that one? I don't know. I didn't play it. Apparently,
no, he just says he's an icon all the time in his music.
Oh, well, yeah. Maybe he is. Maybe he's in that game. He should be. Apparently, Ubisoft is going to announce more games for the Switch. That's what they said. They said quite soon they will announce more of them.
Zombie Itch.
Rabbids versus Zelda. Rabbids versus Metroid.
Rabbids versus F-Zero. That'll be the one that I play.
The Metroid one would actually make sense because of the gun, like the handguns, like
right.
Samus's.
Yeah, because they have hand cannons now.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, well, it's not their property, but Rabbids versus Mega Man, because it looks like a Mega Man weapon that they're using. But yeah, according to their financial meeting or something, they said that they're planning on announcing stuff for Switch, which will probably be like, I don't know, small ports of stuff they've done. I don't know. Ubisoft has always been pretty supportive of Nintendo stuff. Like they had a lot of Wii stuff and they had some Wii U stuff. So it'll probably just be re-releases of those awesome Wii Rabbids games, like Rayman Raving Rabbids. Let's just release that again.
Maybe a Rabbids Mega Collection.
Yeah. They could do that. I mean, I don't know how many there are. I just hope they release that one where you play with your butt on the Wii Balance Board. That'd be a great thing. They re-release that game because I never got to play it.
Well, you'd have to be able to hook the balance board up.
No, you just like sit in your Joy-Cons and they'll somehow read it.
You'll feel the HD rumble in your back pocket.
If they don't break while you're doing it, you just lean on it. It'll be they'll use the motion control for that.
You might be onto something, Trey.
I'm telling you, I'm predicting it now. It's going to happen. Should show up soon. Is there any other news that you heard about this week aside from the big release? There's not a whole lot of stuff released on the eShop. I know Samurai Showdown 1 came out today for Neo Geo, and some other animal puzzle game that I hadn't heard of was on there, which kind of looked sort of shovelware-y. And Splatoon 2 came out, of course, today. But aside from that,
yeah, Splatoon 2 is the belle of the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't go to E3, but I walked around outside E3.
Oh yeah, you did. How was the outside of E3?
The outside of E3. Well, it was pretty cool. LA kind of turns into, it's like downtown is all about E3 for about a week.
Yeah.
You see all the all the street lights, they have banners with E3 on them. and all the advertisements around the Staples Center. If you've ever been around the Staples Center, there's always advertisements down there. But they're all video game things. Like this year, there's this famous building next to the Staples Center that it's like 3 buildings right next to each other. It's a hotel, and they always have a gigantic ad on each of the 3 buildings.
Yeah.
And this year it was Star Wars Battlefront 2. So
okay.
You just see like giant Star Wars Battlefront thing. They had a gigantic Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh yeah.
Outside of took me a while to think of that, but it's just weird to see all these. If you'd have told me 10 or 15 years ago even that I would be somewhere where there would be gigantic building-wide advertisements for video games, I might not have believed it. It's just weird to see like it's all about video games. This whole downtown area of LA.
I was going to say other than maybe if you were in like Tokyo or something.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, we see giant pictures of Dragon Quest and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal. And then the coolest thing that I saw personally when I was walking by, this was more like when it was closing up. I saw this big black SUV, a pair of them actually, and on the side it just said Nintendo. It was like all darkened windows and everything, so I don't know who was in the SUVs.
The president of Nintendo.
Must have been.
You didn't walk up there and look in and try to see?
I tried to take a video on the sly. I couldn't see inside the glass though. But it was like the president of Nintendo or something had his own fleet of SUVs. They were probably bulletproof and everything. Yeah.
And fireball proof also.
Fireball proof,
Yeah. Or hand cannon or anything else.
Shell proof.
Did you try walking in there? I mean, you probably didn't, but I heard that the security was pretty lax there and that you could kind of walk in. Like I heard some people just walked in without passes to E3.
If I wanted to, I definitely could have. I could have snuck my way in. But, I do want to go back again legitimately, and I don't want to be banned.
Oh, sure. No, I just heard it.
So I decided not to do that.
Yeah, I just heard some people, they just didn't nobody checked passes or anything. They kind of just walked in. I mean, they had passes, but nobody asked for it.
The first time that I went, I had a pass, obviously, but the people checking them, there were so many people walking through the doors, they were just kind of like half looking. I could have easily faked something with Photoshop and walked my way in. As long as I didn't make a scene or something, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But, so I went and I looked around. Got to see some free stuff. They had whatever the baseball game that came out this year on Sony was. They had a whole section for that outside. They turned it into a bar.
The show?
The show. MLB The Show, yeah.
Yeah.
They had like this batting cage and everything. They could go sit at the bar and get free drinks. And then Final Fantasy. What's the Final Fantasy game that came out this year? It's not one of the main series,
15?
but something about blood.
15? 15
came
out this year.
There was some
that
Final
was
Fantasy
last year.
thing about
Bloodborne? No.
Bloodborne or something, right?
No, Bloodborne.
So they had a blood drive.
Yeah. No, I mean, that Bloodborne was a different game. It's not Final Fantasy.
There was some Final Fantasy thing about blood, and they had a blood drive for Final Fantasy.
Oh, weird. Maybe it was
donate your blood.
Maybe it was a Final Fantasy 14 thing or something, because I know there was some different, I don't know.
My point is
Stormborne
they have
something
all
like
kinds
that.
of stuff outside that you can go check out and see, and it's worth it to go down for a day. So
Bloodstorm?
Bloodstorm, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I think that's what it is.
I don't know what
it's
it is.
Final Fantasy 14, right?
Yeah, it's from Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, it's like a new, it's an MMO, so it's some like sort of new story thing or something. They
Probably
release stuff like that.
expansion.
But so you could give blood to Squaresoft,
You could.
help them for all
Donate your blood.
for all the blood that they lost on
They
whatever
used to make Blu-rays.
for all the blood they lost from Spirits Within.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly. Yeah, they're still hurting from that. They're
Yeah,
selling
right.
blood to make up.
For sure. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wonder who was in the thing. If you had a 3DS, you could walk around and see if you could street pass like Miyamoto or something while you're down there. You probably, if he had his 3DS on him. Or
I didn't have my 3DS though.
Or like Reggie Fils-Aimé or something. Are you planning on ever getting a 3DS again? I think you should, because I think they're still pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll get one again. I'll get a Switch first. I'll get a Switch, and then I'll get the 3DS and the Wii U.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's more games for 3DS. If you could only afford one, I'd say get that one. But then again, there's Zelda on Switch, but there's also Zelda on 3DS. So I don't know.
That's true.
Speaking of 3DS, there was a demo for Pikmin. Hey Pikmin on there. Hey Pikmin, and I played that game, and it's actually pretty rad.
Oh, there's a demo?
Yeah, there's a free demo on there. It's coming out next week, the same time as Miitopia. So I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to get Miitopia. I don't need Pikmin. And then I played the demo and I was like, oh shit, hey, Pikmin's really cool. So it really does feel like Pikmin, but 2D. So
you do have multiple Pikmin at once in your.
You do, yeah.
Around.
You do, but kind of just find them instead of like, having them take those red circles or whatever back and bury them to like have them grow out of the ground. You just kind of find them as you go, and there's a whistle button. It's controlled with the pad and with a stylus. And you can use like the buttons or the pad on the left or the right, so you can do it easy if you're left-handed like me. But yeah, there's a button in the corner there's a thing you touch on the screen that's the whistle, and when you hit that, like whenever they'll see you and come to you. So you kind of like find them in the environments as you're going. But I found a cartridge of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening in the demo, and I couldn't figure out how to get it, but I thought that was pretty cool. The original Game Boy Color, like Link's Awakening DX, I found that cartridge in the game. I don't think you can actually play it, but you can find it and bring it to your ship or whatever. I know
cool.
In the older ones you could find Game Boys and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cool. I enjoyed the demo. There's only like 3 levels on there to play, but they're fun to play. There's
and it's free.
Yeah, there's like a tutorial, and then there's like the first level, and then there's the third level, or supposedly like three something. So you can play that. I don't think any of it carries over, but you could try it out. It's free. It should have automatically downloaded to your 3DS if you have it on, like it does the Spot Pass thing. So I wanted to make sure and try that out before we talked, and it's been pretty rad. I've been enjoying it. So that comes out next week, so it'll be more of that. That weird Fate Extella game comes out in like 4 days too. Comes out on Tuesday, I think, on the 25th. Yeah, it's on Tuesday. It looked like another like Hyrule Warriors type game, except with not anybody I recognize. It's another like crazy Japanese let's destroy like 10 people at once thing. Yeah. So it's another $60. If like Splatoon wasn't coming out, I might think about getting it, but there's just too much other shit coming out. Like with that and Miitopia and Hey Pikmin, it's like,
Yeah, I haven't bought a new game in a while because I knew I was getting Splatoon.
Yeah.
I was wanting to buy it on launch day. So.
Oh, I wanted to, before I forget, I wanted to ask you, have you heard of a game called Vaccine, John?
Vaccine, no.
It's I think you can get it on iOS, but you can get it for the Switch. I bought it. It's $10, and it's basically like a roguelite Resident Evil game. I figured you'd like it because you love Resident Evil. It's basically, and it's all like
Vaccine.
It's like super low poly. It looks like Resident Evil 1, which is pretty awesome. And like all the camera angles, like on purpose.
Trying to do good graphics.
No, it's obviously done on purpose. Like they're trying to make it look like the original Resident Evil. And you're basically you pick a guy or a girl, and you start in a room with a knife, and your friend has been infected by the zombie virus. And you basically have a half hour to find the vaccine for the zombie virus. And you're in like a mansion like Resident Evil, but the mansion is randomly generated every time you play. So all the rooms are in different areas, so that's why it's kind of like roguelite or whatever. And the rooms are in different places, and what's in the rooms change every time you play also. I haven't beat it, but it's fun to just like play. Like I've played through it. I mean, I've tried to play through it like probably like 10 or 15 times because you can just get on it and play it for a couple minutes and then try it again. And I'm not very good at it. I haven't gotten that far, but you find like different pieces of paper and stuff like that you read that like shows you more stuff about the mystery of the zombies and all that stuff. And
so there's a puzzle element to it too?
There is a puzzle element as well, but I haven't really gotten to that part. But I've read stuff about what to do when I get to that part.
Does it control like a tank?
It does control like a tank. It controls the same way
good.
where you like turn.
That's important.
It's like, where you like, where you either go forward or backwards and turn left and right. But it's like fixed camera angle, so it's kind of you can easily run into the wall and that stuff like you would in a regular Resident Evil game. I don't know if it's mobile or not. I heard that it was, but if you can find it, I'd say check it out.
I'll have to check it out. I need to give Super Mario Run a rest because that's like the only thing that I've been playing.
Oh, you still play that?
I still play it. Yeah, I have like a crazy number of. I have like 20,000 toads.
Oh, yeah. So, I haven't played that since Christmas.
Yeah, I've been playing
I never actually downloaded it on Android. Like it's been out since March. Well, I think it came out right around the time the Switch did.
Did you try it?
I just played the demo. I don't have the actual game.
Yeah, you guys have actual games to play. So
I did play. I think it was last time you were on. You talked about Pac-Man 256.
Oh yeah.
I like that game. I got it on Steam actually. I got it for super cheap. So it's a lot of fun to play on the computer with the keyboard.
Yeah, then you can play it with an actual physical controller.
Which, I mean, it's all just up, down, left, right, whatever. But it's still a really cool game. It's addictive. Like, you just want to keep playing once you get started.
It's super addictive, and you kind of get into a trance. Because you can just keep going forever. It's like, do you like Pac-Man? Cool. Do you want to play it forever? Here you go.
Endless Pac-Man.
Right.
Yeah, because you're running from the kill screen, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's fun though. It's got like power ups and stuff too that are all pretty well done.
Yeah, they're all pretty well thought out. I like the laser the best.
The laser's cool.
Yeah.
For sure. How is your Splatoon download going? Did it work?
It's still working, but it's only at about 25% downloaded.
Okay. Mine stopped
We'll
again,
see.
so I had to restart it. It
I
canceled
was,
again.
I was able to download the voice app yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was what I was gonna talk about. Speaking of which, the voice app came out, and you can get on it. Like I got on it and synced my name and all that, but I can't really do anything yet. Like
It just says, "Hey, you need a Switch attached to your account to play this dummy."
Oh,
It doesn't do anything.
Is that what it says? Does that mean to you? Does it say dummy?
Yeah, it was that mean to me.
I mean, mine just says
You have to have a Switch attached to your account.
Yeah.
It's just like a black screen.
You need a Switch attached to your account, dummy.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Wait, so do I need to download a separate app for the voice chat, or is it just this Nintendo Online app have all that in it?
I don't know. I think it does, but
Because it does
think
have
it's
like
everything
the
all in one,
Splatoon
yeah.
sub-menu.
But I don't have I don't have Splatoon yet. If I would have had Splatoon, we could have tried to record this. We could try to record a whole episode through the app or something and see how it works.
That's an awesome idea. Maybe we can do that next week.
We might do that. That'd be interesting. I could figure out how to do it. Probably. Apparently, I have to do it with the. Well, actually, I might. You have to do it with the phone plugged in because it eats a lot of your battery. That's what I heard. You lose about
The screen stays on the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd have to.
And you can't go to any other apps. You have to leave that app open, or if you try to so you can't go to the text message and be like, "Hey, meet me on the app" or whatever. You have to have the app open.
It just seems like something where they're like, "Guys, we got to get this out right now, and we'll update it."
Exactly.
In a month or so.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
So I'll definitely try the voice chat and all that, but what I realized is when you use wireless headphones, you use Bluetooth, whatever with your phone, you don't get to hear the music from the game. That's why they figured out that whole weird pass-through thing, so you can somehow hear the music from the game and the people from the phone, which kind of sucks. I guess you'll just have to wear it on one ear or something and then try to listen to it on the other. But yeah, I'll definitely try it out. I have an iPhone 7, so it kind of screwed everything up when they took the fucking headphone jack off the bottom of it. So it's made my whole life pretty ridiculous now. So I might not be able to do the voice chat and record it somehow and charge it at the same time because that's stupid because you can't do that now. So we'll see. But it really ticks me off that it's nice to get it for more space, but I really missed that headphone jack. I don't know whose idea it was to take that off of there.
The guys that made the Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah, well, it's annoying. That's what I'm saying. Makes everything annoying. Do you guys want to talk about the Castlevania show then?
Let's do it.
Sure.
So, we mentioned it last week. There's this new show called Castlevania on Netflix. I watched all 4 of the episodes. There's not really a whole lot that happens in there. I actually,
not really. It just kind of sets the stage for whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 episodes for a season. Hopefully the next season is gonna, I saw that it wasn't gonna come out till next year, but they should have it come out sooner. Or at least have more. But you notice...
Maybe have more than 4 episodes.
Yeah, you notice that it's Castlevania 3, right? That they're following for this with Trevor Belmont and Sifa.
I thought so. I didn't recognize Sifa, but yeah, I knew Trevor was from the 3rd one.
Yeah, Sifa is the ghost lady from the ship in Dracula's Curse. I was hoping that Grant Dynasty would show up, but yeah, no, that's it's based on the Castlevania 3 stuff, which I actually wanted to do. I was planning on doing a Trace Retro Revival thing of Castlevania 3 for the Netflix show. But my NES, my Castlevania game, I can't play it. It keeps glitching out, so I wasn't unable to do it. So if you have one and you want to do it, you can do it. But
I don't have Castlevania 3.
Yeah, no, I really want to do a playthrough from it, but I couldn't get it to play for more than 5 minutes before it froze. So I was having trouble with that. But yeah, no, it's I mean, what do you guys think of the show?
My overall thought is that I like this show. I think it's a good show. But to me, it doesn't feel necessarily like Castlevania. I think a large reason is I don't recognize any of the music. Does any of the music from the show come from the games? Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I
didn't notice anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't hear like the vampire killer or anything, any of those main themes, anything like that.
None of that.
And plus, it's like kind of super over the top, you know. And he's like whipping people and they explode every time he whips them. I mean, I don't mind it being like overly violent and all that, but it seems kind of
really violent, and it doesn't even like shy away from like showing dead kids and stuff either, which is really like dark. I think.
Yeah. Well,
like there's a part where you just see like a piece of a dead kid like laying on the ground.
Oh yeah. And the raining blood scene, which I thought, I love the gory aspect of it. I like gory animation.
Yeah.
I love whenever it kind of reminded me of Ninja Scroll a little bit. Like I know there's probably a lot of animes, but it has like an 80s anime feel to it, like the way.
And then it just doesn't shy away from the violence and the
and then even like the way the characters move and stuff kind of has that, like, I don't know what you call it, like more loose movements like those 80s animes did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super violent. One of my favorite scenes, I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler, but I just want to mention it before I get it. It's when you first meet Trevor and he gets into a bar fight and he knocks that one guy down and then everyone's running and they're running on top of the guy's face. And he's like, fucking face down here.
Yeah.
That was my favorite
that bar
line
fight was really cool.
Well, he like whips a dude's eye out too. I mean, that's not at the bar fight, is it? But he does do that. I remember that where he's like, I'm just going to whip your eyeball out. I'm like, what? Okay. And
that doesn't seem possible, but sure.
And Trevor Belmont's like drunk all the time now. He's all like, I'm too sober. Give me some booze. It's like, how do you defeat all these vampires being so drunk? I mean, really, that was
they're making him like the lovable rascal, like Han Solo or something, you know. But
I mean, Han Solo wasn't that drunk.
Well, not like the drunkenness factor, but you know, he's just like a lovable rogue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, I don't remember any Belmonts being like that, but I guess like there hasn't been a whole lot of development. But Alucard's in there too. Another sign that it's from 3. You see him, but man, season 2.
One of the subplots is going to be Trevor going through the 12 steps to like stop being an alcoholic.
Yeah, before he can fight Dracula.
It's all an allegory for.
He's going to apologize to Dracula at the end.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I was drunk. I really want Grant Dynasty to make it in there though for the second season. He's the old like the ugly hunchback dude from 3. Like he was the only one. He was the easiest one to find. Like if you're playing through that game, I'd always get to him. He should be in there. And they definitely need they're going to do 3. They need like a giant gear level or just a part where they jump on gears a bunch, you know, because that was the first time they did that with the giant. When you're in the clock.
In this first season, I want to see somebody eat some meat out of the wall. That's it. Then I'll feel like, okay, Castlevania, good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's like in your video, you're just talking about like the chicken. You got to find chicken in the walls. You can do that in Aladdin.
Well, I wouldn't even like, I wouldn't put it past Trevor to eat some meat out of a wall. Based on how rough around the edges he is.
I mean, he'd drink some booze out of the walls.
He does.
If he found like some beer like dripping down a brick wall or something, he'd just lick it right off of that. He wouldn't care. Need that booze. But I mean, it's it kind of, I guess it sets up like why there's fucking demonic monsters all over the place. Because Dracula's wife was killed. Like that was never in the original story of the NES one. It was just that, you know, Dracula just wanted to enslave that city. But I think that's the same city. It's spelled different, but it's a
Wallachia.
Similar pronunciation. Yeah, Wallachia. Like I was just looking it up, some of the stuff from the old instruction booklets. I think that's in there.
I think it's cool that they, you know, Dracula, he's kind of the bad guy, but he's not the real bad guy in this. Or at least, you know, up until the end.
He has a motivation to him, you know.
Right, and there is another character who's like more the villain. Which
the priest, he sucks.
Yeah, all the priests are evil. There are no good priests in Castlevania.
Yeah, right. Can you kill them with holy water, or does that not affect them in that world? And because that would make them more powerful.
He did use holy water at one point.
Yeah, I mean he used an axe too. He kind of threw it in sort of a little arc, like how he would.
Yeah.
So you see a little bit of the weapons in there. No, nothing that like stops everybody, and no floating Medusa heads. They need that in the next one.
I don't know if the Belmonts were ever hated by people in the other Castlevania games, or is that something in 3 that everyone hates? Like the townsfolk hate the Belmonts?
I don't think so. I mean, why would they? They've like
this anime.
They've been killing vampires for years.
I was surprised that I couldn't do Japanese subtitles. Was this made in Japan?
It's not.
Is this an American?
I think it's an American. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's an American production. I think.
Yeah, because I was trying to do that too. I wanted to listen to it in Japanese, but there's no Japanese. So
yeah, it was like Chinese and Arabic and all these
French
other ones,
and German,
Japanese,
and Esperanto. I saw that on there too.
One of the producers is Eddie Shankar, and I know he's an American producer, so I think it's an American production.
Well, the guy who wrote it, Warren Ellis, he's a famous comic book writer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So there you go. I know recently he wrote some Moon Knight stuff, but he's done a bunch of shit. Like he wrote a bunch of stuff for Image like way back when. So yeah, I've seen his name around on different stuff. But yeah,
I'm excited for it. I want to see where it's going to go. I'm on board. 4 episodes is not enough. I wonder why it was only 4 episodes. I wonder kind of like, did they plan to just make a movie first, but then halfway through they were like, no, let's make it a series. Yeah,
I don't know. It seemed to come out of nowhere, really. It's like, oh yeah, Castlevania, and then like, here it is. Like it didn't seem like it took that long to get in development or whatever. So I don't know.
I think it's just a test to see how well people respond, if they want to make more of them.
Sure.
Or however cartoons work, you like order them from the company.
I was hoping they'd do something like kind of like how Hulu does their stuff, where like where they release like part of it and they'll release the rest of it later. Where it's like kind of they stagger it instead of like dropping everything at once. So
I only want one thing from this show though, that when they introduce Simon Belmont, it's just the Simon Belmont from Captain N, completely out of place, just like the macho, self-indulged guy, totally cartoony.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Trevor Belmont I thought was kind of out of place too for this. I mean, when he had his giant fur coat on, but I guess he does kind of like, they do like throw their coat off. I mean, in the beginning of that game, he does like take his coat off, so it makes sense.
When he's no longer ashamed of his heritage and he's like, I'm of the clan Belmont. I don't need a coat.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to whip when you got a giant fur coat on you. I mean,
I bet it is.
Makes it difficult.
Well, you got
all those extra pockets
like a whip, might as well have an impractical coat too.
I mean, yeah, if you have the pockets in the coat, you can use your hatchets and stuff to throw at people.
And store a lot of little bottles of liquor.
Yeah, for sure. All right,
he's going through the 12 steps, but he's still like, hiding alcohol.
Yeah, that's why he has the coat. Stage. He hides them and also eyeballs of Cyclopses as well, and stuff like that.
Cyclops is cool.
Yeah, where he put his sword.
That was straight up like a Symphony of the Night style enemy, or all those games that reminded me of something from that.
I just want him to have like skeletons on motorcycles and stuff like that, like from the old 3D Castlevanias that had weird shit like that. They should bring that in there. I think it might have been the 64 one. It was either the 64 one or the PlayStation 1 3D one, where they had like Frankenstein's monsters and skeletons on motorcycles and just all this crazy stuff running all over the place.
Yeah, there's Frankenstein's monsters in the 2D ones. I know that.
Yeah, but no skeletons on motorcycles. They were in the 3D
they're on
one.
Horses.
Yeah, I like them on motorcycles. It seems zanier. Or like, I think, there was like a part where you had to walk through something and not jump. I think that was on the 64 one. But I like that one more than most people did, but whatever. Anyway, do you guys want to take a break and get into the Battle of the Century? The Aladdin.
Sounds good.
All right. Be right back.
Time.
So we're going to do something different that we haven't really done on this show before. I'm going to let you two guys battle out I'm going to let you guys defend the different Aladdins, the Super Nintendo or the Genesis Aladdin. And I'm kind of just going to judge because I haven't really played. I mean, I played a little bit of both of them, but I mean, I'm not really partial to one or the other. So you guys just, state your cases about the games, and you just try to convince me that one is better than the other, and I guess we'll decide like that. Maybe we'll do a new series of versus stuff, and we can do other stuff in the future of like one version versus another version and all that.
That's
so
cool.
It's our first one like that. So who wants to start off with their defense on the game?
Is this like an official debate format? Like, do we have a 1-minute opening argument and then do like the rebuttal? And
I well enough for this debate.
I mean, we could. I mean, I was never on the debate team, so I don't know. I figured you guys would just kind of talk back and forth and try to convince me that one is better than the other. Is how I figured it. But if you want to do that, here I'll give you take a minute. Starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. John.
Oh, me. Okay. Aladdin on the Genesis. That's what I'm all about. Okay, so I bought Aladdin on the Genesis when I was in 5th grade. I want to say this was like 1993. And it was actually one of my main reasons for buying a Genesis over a Super Nintendo. Now, that's a mistake we can talk about another day. But Genesis... that's one of the reasons that I bought it. I remember playing it at my friend's house, and I thought, wow, that looks like almost like the cartoon. The graphics were just amazing on this game, and I needed to play more. Right? I don't regret buying that game. That game was amazing. I still think it's one of the best games on the Genesis for a couple of reasons. One is the graphics and the animation are some of the best of the 16-bit era.
You got 10 seconds.
Well, I'll leave it at that then. I think it's one of the best games on the Genesis, and I'll get back to the other stuff later.
There's your 1 minute. That's 1 minute for that. Do you have a response to that, Jeremy? Give your 1 minute on the Super Nintendo one. I'm gonna count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Well, Aladdin on the Super Nintendo is the one I've played. I got it. I didn't buy the system for it. I actually think that my parents just got this for us. Sometime after the movie was released, we bought this game used. But yeah, I liked it. I think it looks really cool. Like, you've got the monkey chasing you around. Like, I thought that was a nice detail, and he does funny little things the whole time. And he's got a bunch of different animations for depending on what you're doing. So that's really cool. The music's good. The genie pops up a lot, and the way he's animated is great. So I just love the animation, and I love the bright colors and for the most part it sticks to the canon of the movie, but there are a few parts where it goes a little off the rails. But this game was made by Capcom, so think about those sprites in Street Fighter 2 and how detailed they are. That's the way these characters are. A little smaller, but very well detailed.
That was a minute. So let's say, like, isn't the real reason that the Genesis one is better is that he has a sword? Wasn't that the? I always thought that was the main reason. He has a giant sword.
Nintendo didn't like violence, famously, and so they requested that Capcom not have a sword in their version. Sega, being the bad boys, said, "Oh no, we need Aladdin to have a sword in this game."
He needs a giant sword.
And so instead of just fighting with apples, you also get the sword in the Genesis version.
But I mean, for what I saw in the Super Nintendo one, you can jump on people though. I mean, can you do that in the Genesis one?
Can you do that?
Can you do Super Mario style?
Which would you rather use, your feet or a sword?
Well, actually, you don't use your feet. You do like a handstand pogo off of them.
Handstand springy thing. That's true.
Yeah.
I played the Super Nintendo version back around the time it came out over at my friend's house, and having played it and then just watched some videos again to refresh myself, I feel like it reminds me of Prince of Persia in some ways, in the way that you can
you
grab
can,
on the ledges and pull yourself up. And,
for sure, yeah.
And then the sprites are about the same size and everything, and it felt to me a little bit like Prince of Persia. From the setting, even.
Is that a bad thing then?
No, that's just a thing. Not a good thing or a bad thing. Just an observation.
So you can't do acrobatics in the Genesis one? Like, there's no things you can swing on and
you can
and
do
that type
some
of thing.
acrobatics. You can jump on poles and they'll fling you up and you spin around and do flips. You can also climb on ropes.
What I really want to know is, are there any magic carpet levels on the Genesis version? Because that's like where you have to escape from the cave or whatever. Because I saw that on Jeremy's playthrough, which you can find on YouTube /NintenDomain podcast. But I saw that on there, and I do remember playing that when I was in high school, playing that part where you got through there and then you went into the lamp and you had a genie level. Does the Genesis one have a genie level?
The Genesis not only has the magic carpet level, it has the superior magic carpet level.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Okay.
First, so there's the escape from the cave level, which leads up to the magic carpet. And you exit the escape from the cave in one of the coolest ways that ends a Genesis level, I think. You're being chased down by a boulder, right? And boulder's chasing you. You run up this cliff and you think, I've got nowhere to go, but I have to jump. So you jump off and you're about to hit the lava. Then the magic carpet at the last second comes and rescues you and you land on the carpet. And then you begin the magic carpet level, which to me is reminiscent of, it's very fast paced. It starts off, you think, okay, I can do this. And then at the end, it just builds up in speed. You have to dodge boulders and stuff, and the genie's hand will appear at the last second to tell you where you need to go. And then every once in a while it just throws a trick at you and it points both ways, and you have to dodge either left or right and up and down. And it's a very fast paced level. It reminds me a little bit of the speeder bike levels in Battletoads. It starts off the way you can do this, but at the end it's really challenging, and if you actually finish it, then it's very rewarding.
I was going to say, is it practically impossible then? Is that what you mean by reminding you of the of those things?
It's easier than that, but it's just hard enough that you feel satisfied when you complete it.
Oh, okay. I'm watching some Genesis footage on my phone right now, and I do admit that the animation and like sprite size of Aladdin is much better on that, I think, than the Super Nintendo one.
I think so.
Yeah,
and it adds to, but when the sprites are that big and the animation is that good, you can see the characters' faces and their expressions, and that's what it's all about for.
And those hammer pants,
Disney movies,
they animate so well. Let me tell you, those are the best looking hammer pants I've ever seen in a video game. Ever.
Oh yeah, you got the hammer pants. You know, they're well animated.
Even better than Def Jam Vendetta, even though I don't think there were any hammer pants in that. But what is the genie level like on the Genesis one? Like, is it different? Like where the whole thing is like him?
It's different on the Genesis one. So yeah, I'm just gonna defer back to the animation. I think you get some comical expressions from the genie. Like there's a part of the level where you're climbing across, as I recall. I want to say you're grabbing on his beard or something, and like his face is making funny faces as you grab his beard, or it might be a balloon or something that you grab. When you grab it, the genie's face has changed. And also you can look in the background. There's some Easter eggs in that level. You can see a Sega Genesis in the background of all the stuff that's in the genie's lamp. So breaking the fourth wall moments in that level.
Nice.
You've also got the column A and column B from the song. There you go. If you're into that column A and column B, it's in the level.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know you were singing that song in your playthrough.
I was
whatever it was. It's been a long time since I've seen Aladdin. All I remember is Whole New World and Prince Ali. That's the only songs that I remember. Which I remember that song just playing over and over and over again at the beginning of the Genesis game. The Prince, and that one was kind of, repeated ad nauseum, like for that. But so I did find that kind of annoying in that one. Does the music get any better in the Genesis version as you go?
Oh yeah, I think it's all straight from the movie.
It just seemed really repetitive. Was the only thing that first level music was. I kind of got tired of it.
You're talking about the title screen?
No, I'm talking about the very first level that you play.
That one.
Isn't it just the na 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 na? Like it just plays that over and over again, pretty much.
No, that's all the music from the.
You might think of the One Jump song.
That one. Yeah.
One jump ahead.
One jump ahead. That's the song. Yep.
I'm looking at the genie level right now on the phone, and I think I do think the Super Nintendo one does look better than this one. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because it's brighter.
It's more colorful, and it's more blue. I guess this is kind of like
it is more blue. I'll give it that.
There's more clouds and such. I don't know. I haven't heard much from you, Jeremy, on the defense of the Super Nintendo game here.
Oh, I thought we were still taking turns.
Well, it's your turn. I stopped doing we just did the 1 minute thing, and I stopped timing.
I did actually look up some info about the Genesis version was made by Virgin, and they actually worked directly with Disney software, and I guess this was the first game where Disney animators actually helped create the sprites. That's one of the reasons it looks so good, because you've actually got the Disney animators in there. So yeah, they had to have some help to make it look good. Well, Aladdin on the Super Nintendo, they just used their own abilities to make it at Capcom. But no, I'm not. I mean, that's not a genuine criticism. But yeah, I can see where you could say these sprites look better. It's kind of funny. I was looking at the Wikipedia page, and this doesn't do well for my defense. But the guy who designed the Capcom game, Shinji Mikami, said that if he had not made the Super Nintendo game, he probably would have bought the Genesis game.
Oh, really?
Because it has a sword and better animation.
Oh, well, shit. Shinji Mikami, like, he already decided which one to get here.
I mean, this being the actual guy, like, saying, like, well, you know, the only reason I can't really say that is because I made this game. I designed this game. But, no,
he's the
think
guy
that,
credited with making Resident Evil, isn't he?
Yeah, he's through Capcom.
That name sounds familiar. I mean, I'm sure I've heard it before. Because wasn't he? Yeah,
he was Resident Evil 4.
Was he the guy who did Killer 7 also?
I thought that was Suda 51.
No, but I mean the guy, like, not one of the guys who worked on Killer 7 also did Resident Evil though.
Yeah, it does say he worked on. It says he worked on Killer 7 on his Wikipedia page.
Nice.
And Resident Evil 4 was like when he returned to the Resident Evils. But yeah, so I don't know this game, just the Super Nintendo port's really cool. Like the first level, you know, you can see the castle back in the background. There's a lot of little Easter eggs, as John was saying about the Genesis version. Like there's one level where when you're in the genie's lamp, and there's one part where you can see Abu like about to fall off the carpet that's flying in the background. Like they throw little things in there like that. The genie level is one of the coolest looking stages in this game by far. When you like. There's like blocks with the whole level is just made out of genie, different like iterations of him. So he's the blocks, he's the platforms, he's the things you're jumping on. And when you jump on a platform that's his face, he'll like his eyeballs will follow you. So like when you jump on it, he'll look up at you, and then as you walk to the right side, his eyes move to the right. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And when you jump on like these blocks that fall into the pit, his like face changes to like kind of an like look that because he's about to fall to his death or whatever, which was strange. I don't know why the genie was trying to kill Aladdin, but
I guess that's points against both versions. The genie's trying to kill us.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm coming back to this over and over again. Why I like it so much, and a huge reason why is obviously nostalgia, which you could probably agree, John. You know, this is the one I played. This is the system I had. This was my favorite Disney cartoon up until, you know, recently. I might have revised what my favorite Disney cartoons are, but you know, for years and years, I would have said this was my favorite.
Aladdin was my favorite too. I think Aladdin was like the Cars of our generation, where like if you're a boy and you watch Disney stuff, you know, Aladdin is going to be the favorite one.
That's a good analog. And yeah, so think of my favorite Disney cartoon on my favorite console, and that's why I love Aladdin so much. And it's cheap. I rebought it recently, and I think I only paid like $5 or $10 for it.
Oh, really? The Super Nintendo one? I was looking on eBay for it, and it was like around $20.
Well, maybe it's not as cheap as I remember then, but.
No, I was just wondering. I mean, you might have found it cheaper. There are places cheaper than eBay in Champaign. I was just looking. I was looking to pick one up, and it wasn't as cheap as I thought it would be, because the Aladdin, like I bought I guess I bought the Aladdin for Genesis for $10 and Champaign when I was there last week.
So you haven't had a chance to play it yet?
No, I have. No, I did play it. That's how I know that opening song is annoying.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about, because I just played that first part and I kind of got tired of the song for that.
Here's something kind of interesting I'm seeing here that I didn't realize. So the Genesis one was ported was also on the Master System. Wait, no, it wasn't. But they took that and they ported that game to the NES. So if we could find a copy of Aladdin on the original NES, it would be more similar to the Genesis game than the Super Nintendo game, which is kind of strange.
I have played the emulated version of that NES one.
Oh, yeah?
I played it.
How does it look?
It's the same layout. It's just, you know, everything is brown and yellow.
Right, static.
The animation is not as impressive.
I'm sure it's pretty good for NES, though, right?
No, it's actually kind of bad.
Yeah.
It's like Aladdin is like, you know, the size of a dime or something. It doesn't even compare. It's just the level layout is the same. It's just everything looks smaller. and not very good. I went back to playing the Genesis one.
Likewise, the Super Nintendo one was ported to the Game Boy Advance, and I guess it was kind of a garbage port. I've never played it, but there are a lot of problems with it, supposedly.
Yeah, I thought there was some sort of Game Boy Advance version that came out. Do you get to walk on Genie's tongue though on the Genesis version?
You do,
because that's pretty amazing.
You do at the end of the. You don't scroll up with his tongue sticking out at you back and forth like in the Super Nintendo version, but at the end it's like rolled out like a red carpet, and you crawl up into his mouth.
Wow, Genie's licking feet in every episode. Or at every iteration.
Yeah, because he has no shoes on. I like the animation better on the Genesis one, but I think the backgrounds look better on the Super Nintendo one from the comparison of both of them.
I'll offer this for your consideration on that. In the backgrounds on the Genesis one, I think there are more creative Easter eggs.
Well,
so
there are no Genesises in the background of this one.
Now that's would be true. Something, but. No, like in the desert level, when you are walking across the desert, you notice there's somebody set up a clothesline in the background. You can see like somebody's underwear and whatever. But then there's a pair of Mickey ears hanging up on the clothesline. And not only that, but if you happen to stand Aladdin underneath the Mickey ears for a second, you get a free guy. So you make him wear the Mickey ears that are on the background, you get a free life.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh. That's cool.
Oh, wow. So that's like actually, that's like Lego game level of Easter eggs.
Right.
Like, so, cause what they would do in those Lego Star Wars games or Lego Batman games, where you found something that referenced another thing, you'd get like extra coins for it or extra lives or whatever, or like Lego pieces, to put together.
Exactly.
So that's
like in the dungeon level, there's one point where you're looking in the background and you see like, skeletons hanging up and in chains and whatever. But then in one of them, in handcuffs, is Sebastian, the crab from the Little
Oh, there you go. So it's bringing them all together. Like they're all part of one multiverse, pretty much. That's what it's saying.
Exactly. And I think it kind of is in tune with what they did in the movie. Like in the movie, they did stuff like that too. Like at the end, Genie's wearing a goofy hat.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think points there.
There's a ton of pop culture references in that too. Yeah. It's Robin Williams, so he's like switching voices every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Supposedly there were like many, many, many hours of recorded dialogue, like because he improvised a lot of stuff. So like somewhere there's like just reels of tape of his like improvised dialogue.
Have you heard?
I don't know if that'll it, but
have you heard about the controversy about him like being pissed off about Aladdin because he believed that it took people away from seeing his Toys movie? Have you read anything about that?
I didn't hear about that. No.
Because they kind of like came out at the same time, and part of his contract was that Aladdin wouldn't interfere with the Toys movie that he was making, even though that movie was fucking weird. Like I saw it in the theaters, and it's not a good movie. I mean, I think he like wrote it or produced it or something. Like I know he had a lot to do with the Toys movie. But apparently there was like some sort of bad blood between him and Disney after that, because part of his contract was that, that Aladdin like wouldn't premiere around the same time as Toys, and I think it did. I think they still ended up coming out similar times. But
see, the controversy I heard was all about his like he was adamant about like don't sell any toys. That makes sense. Don't sell any toys based off his likeness in the Disney movie, and they did it anyway. And then I guess he got real pissed off, and Disney ended up like buying him a Picasso painting and giving it to him, like as a like we're sorry about that kind of gift. Like gave him this multi-million-dollar Picasso painting as like a consolation, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And there's other stuff like even though he's dead, I think legally there's stuff about using his voice that's like set up in his contract or something. I don't know a lot about it, but I just know that
no one can use his voice or image for commercial purposes for like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't want people to make extra money off of it. Like, he just wanted, the money to be made off of the actual art they were making, the films. But Disney, like I said, Disney went back on that real quick. They're like, no, we got to sell Genie toys. Like, kids want to buy Genie toys, and we can make a bunch of money selling Genie toys.
Yeah, he was saying apparently they used his voice for Toys, and they weren't supposed to. This is what I'm seeing. Was there ever? There weren't any video game versions of all those sequels to Aladdin, were there? Like the straight to video things, like Jafar's Great Adventure or whatever it was called. Like there were a couple of them where
Aladdin
there were
2.5.
Aladdin 33 and a third. No, they were like
on the streets. Yeah.
next Aladdin next Friday, Riff Raff 2. I don't know. Because there were a bunch. I remember there were a bunch of sequels that like he wasn't in, like where the genie wasn't
Coffee
in there.
and hookahs,
or were they? Or wasn't there? There was a TV show too. I remember that there was a fucking Aladdin cartoon
TV show. Yeah,
that I used to watch.
I remember the voice of the genie was Dan Castellaneta from The Simpsons.
Really? Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was.
Well, that's pretty rad. I didn't know that. What is? How are the? Have both of you beat this? I know Jeremy said he's beat it before in his childhood. Have you guys made it all the way through this game? The Aladdin?
I beat the Genesis version, yeah.
What are the bosses like? What are the final bosses like?
So I will concede points.
Sell me on
the Super Nintendo version of the boss. Yeah, the Genesis version, it's a snake, but it's too small. It's just like, it is nowhere near as big and giant as as it was in the movie. I do like the last boss in the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, it's a giant snake. So I mean, that was what
you're standing on the snake and it's moving and everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I will say though, there's not. I don't know if there's many bosses in the Genesis version, but there's only like 3. I think there's only 3 bosses total in the whole Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, because
there's not really any bosses. I mean, I remember there's a mini boss in the cave level. It's like this Buddha-looking thing that is not even in the movie. But yeah, not too many bosses in that game.
What about, so how much stuff in this, so I'll say something from this and then if there's anything that's like not in the movie in the Genesis version, but there's one level, and I think I mentioned it at the top of the show, where Abu falls into a pyramid or something, and you have to go save him from this pyramid, and it's totally not in the cartoon. It's like they just added it as padding. But is there anything like that in the Genesis version where it's like, okay, I don't know why we're in this level. This has nothing to do with the cartoon.
No, not to my knowledge, no. I don't think there's anything. I remember watching the playthrough of the Super Nintendo one and thinking, oh, yeah, Abu goes to a pyramid. Okay, cool. But yeah, nothing like that in the Genesis version.
So, I think that's another point for the Super Nintendo because they chose to write original material for the game.
I think that's the point away because they deviated from the source. They're supposed to stay true.
Well, it added more like length to the game, though, right? Gave you more of your money's worth. You could say for adding some stuff that wasn't in the movie, right?
And it gave you a chance to rescue that dang monkey.
It's like all those times that they put Shocker in those Spider-Man games, just to add some extra fluff.
There isn't a Boo mini game inside the Genesis version where if you collect, I think it's like if you collect a certain gem during the level, you get to play the mini game at the end where pots are dropping and you have to dodge the pots, and Abu gets a sword. So points for having a monkey with a sword in the Genesis version.
Yeah, no, that is true. I did find that. Is there any sort of bonus thing at the end, like where you can get more credits or lives or anything like that? Because I know that the Super Nintendo has kind of a sort of a bonus game where you stop a wheel at a certain time and the genie gives you extra stuff.
Yeah, there's like a slot machine thing where if you hit the button at a certain time, you win a continue or 5 extra lives or something.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, the mini game in the SNES version is a little disappointing because it's just a roulette wheel, and you usually don't get what you want.
Yeah, you mostly just get a continue. I think that's what you got, or what I've seen.
Yeah, except for when I finally really needed to continue, it gave me a heart to just give me one extra heart of energy with 0 lives. So that didn't help a whole lot at all.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that the Genesis version has over the Super Nintendo version is a strong sense of humor. It's come through in the animation. There's one point where if you throw an apple at a guy, it'll drop his pants or some odd thing will happen. It has a good sense of humor.
There's no pants dropping.
No pants dropping. Everybody keeps their pants in the SNES version. Or one of the animations is in the dungeon. You'll see a skeleton guy who he's holding his head in one hand and a bomb in the other hand. He accidentally puts the bomb where his head should be, and then he scratches his head, and then he blows up.
Nice.
Funny touches like that, yeah. And I was looking into who created the game, and it actually turns out it's one of the guys who was behind Earthworm Jim, Dave Perry. So
who created the...
Yeah.
Oh, who created the Genesis version? Right.
He was on the Genesis team, yeah. So he was... I know this because there was a code that you type in where you can get, infinite lives and invulnerability and everything. And when I typed this in as a kid, it would flash with a screen that said,
Groovy?
it had a picture of the guy, and it said, "Hi, I'm David Perry. What is your wish?" And then you would pick what cheat you wanted, right?
Oh, weird.
And then I remember later on seeing that Earthworm Jim was created by a guy named David Perry. So I said, "Oh, all right, that's the same guy." And so I noticed there's a sense of humor that the two games share, Earthworm Jim and Aladdin. And I have to conclude that David Perry and whatever other people he might have taken with him.
He is listed as the director, and the programmer.
Yeah, he must be the source. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that too. Like there are, as far as I know, there's no like cheats or anything you can put in. It's just straight up. Like as far as I know, the only thing is putting in the passwords to skip the levels. Which in this game, it's just heads of the characters, 4 of them in a row. It'd probably be super easy to just like skip all the way to the end by trial and error putting in the password. How does is there a way to put in a passcode in the Genesis version to continue from a level?
There's a continue, which is I think it's ABBA. But then the code that you type at the beginning, you go to the options screen, you type AC, BBBB. For all the kids listening at home, again, that is AC, BBBB.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, right. And then you get cold. Air conditioning.
But like just stop, like without putting in any codes or anything. Is there a way to like say, well, I got to level 4, I died, I have to go to school now. Can I come back and put in something to just go straight back to level 4?
Yeah, that's the code. So when you do that at the options screen and type that in, there's a level select on there.
Okay, but
it's only if you're doing a cheat code that you can.
Yeah, there's not an actual way to save. There's no legal way. There's not a cheat for you to save your game, is what I'm saying. Is what he's trying to say.
I don't think so.
So there's a knock towards Genesis then for no password system and no save system. I mean, just because it has a level select.
But what's if we're going to go that route, what's the cooler way? What is the cooler way to select your levels?
Just put a code in?
I don't know.
I mean, it's
the C button doesn't exist to me, so.
Well, back in the day of no internet, I mean, unless you got like Genesis Power or something, like how would you know? How would you know to do that? Even though I don't. What was the magazine called? I know it wasn't Genesis Power, but I'm sure they had equivalent in Nintendo Power at the time, right?
They had a Sega Visions.
I mean, I know they had a TV channel. I'm sure they had a fucking magazine too.
Surely
they did have Sega Visions. That was their version of Nintendo Power.
Oh, really? Yeah.
They did.
So that's how you find the ABA, CCC, whatever. Whatever that thing was you said earlier.
That's how you found it, yes.
AC, BBBBB.
4 Bs.
4 Bs.
Well, I just I ordered Aladdin for Super Nintendo just now for $15, no shipping.
Oh, nice.
Off of eBay, which was more expensive than the Genesis version, but now I get to play both of them. But I really do like animation wise. I do think the Genesis is way far superior. Like I said, I guess
notable, but only because they had Disney helping them.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, he does look way better. Even though I haven't seen, I'm trying to find the snake boss here. I think I'm almost
the snake
there,
boss at the end is kind of disappointing. Yeah.
Because the Genesis or the Super Nintendo one kind of has like a Mode 7 thing almost going on, which is pretty cool. Like with the way you're on the snake and it moves. Like this just looks like a whole lot of dodging of fire, basically. And you gotta dodge.
I think this has to be the only game where the Genesis version looks better. Can you guys think of any other game where that's true?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Mortal Kombat.
You think it looks better on Mortal Kombat?
Just because it has blood. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you. I don't know if I didn't tell you, but I bought a Genesis when I was at the MC, the Midwest Gaming, the MGC thing in Milwaukee. So I have a Genesis now. I bought one for like $20.
Which model did you get?
I got the new model, the newer one.
There was 3 of them. You got the third one, or
you got the second one?
I think I got the second one, the one that just has the 2 buttons, the power and reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found that when we were trying to find the AV cord at Live Action Games.
Yeah,
where he just like was like, "Oh, okay, I know exactly what you need." Boom, and he just like went and picked it off.
Yeah. So
I was very impressed by that.
So I have that version, and I was looking for some games while I was at the MGC, and I'm like, I should get and I found like Mortal Kombat really cheap. So I'm like, I'll play Mortal Kombat 1. I never really got to play it with blood, aside from the arcade, so I'll try it out. And yeah, it has blood, but the rest of it is like there's no voices in it. There's like no music either. It's like a very silent game. You know, it's not.
Did it even say fatality?
No, it does not. There's no speaking in it whatsoever. It feels weird. It feels like a very silent game, and it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look as good, and it doesn't sound as good. But it has blood, you know. But the fatalities don't look that good either. It's pretty funny. It's just one of those things I just got to play it because I never played it on that version. But yeah, no, I mean, as far as I know, it's probably the one that looks better. I mean, what versions would there be that are where the Genesis is better than the Super Nintendo? I mean, most of them are just, even though like some of them had different versions, right? Like some of them were completely different. Mm-hmm. Like in this situation, like Aladdin, or like Wolverine's Adamantium Rage. Like those games are completely different on Genesis. I just know that because I had a friend that was into Wolverine that had that game. And those games are completely different, but it's like I don't know which one's better. I think they're both pretty terrible for that game, but I don't know. I mean, it's just I've been trying to I've been thinking about it. Like now that I have a Genesis, I'm like, which games should I get that are better? I mean, Genesis had all those comic book games. Like that's a big reason that I got it was because like the X-Men games and the Spider-Man game.
I'd be interested to go down the whole of Genesis RPGs that I've never played.
They're expensive. They're awesome, but they're expensive, yeah. No, I mean, I definitely look into, well, of course they are. Like most old Japanese RPGs are worth a lot.
Super Nintendo RPGs are expensive too.
Well, I mean, the Phantasy Star games are excellent. Like I've only played Phantasy Star 4, technically. But I mean, I've heard that 2 is great. I mean, the people aren't as big on 3 as 2 and 4, but yeah, I would have totally got those already if they were at a decent price, but they're like $50-$60 probably at its cheapest. So it's still been, I mean, that was the first thing I thought about getting on the Genesis side. And stuff like Beyond Oasis, which I don't know, I'm sure that one's expensive too, but I haven't really looked into it. And like Streets of Rage and stuff like that, those games aren't cheap either.
Streets of Rage, yeah. Or Comic Zone. Get Comic Zone. That game's pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, I've
really
played
hard.
it. Yeah.
It is super hard. I've
Vector Man.
I've gotten to the end of that game once.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
And, I was like, it was like one of those last minute situations, you know, like down to 1 unit of health, and then you think you're going to beat it, and then you don't. I'd never tried again to beat that game.
You only get one life. Like it's not really.
Yeah.
It's not really very nice. Like
I made
even
it all the way to the last boss. Yeah, I've never gotten back there since.
Yeah,
I don't ever plan to try.
Even right out of the gate, it's not very nice. I remember that. Like it's just hard to like play even. Like I remember trying to play it, I'm like, man, this game is doesn't pull its punches
really hard,
here. It kind of
looks gorgeous.
Kind of just beats the shit out of you right on the front.
It's a fun game if you are willing to pull your hair out, you know, for an hour or two.
Yeah, right.
But it's very tough.
For sure.
It'll leave you with some battle scars.
Yeah. So what, I mean, do you guys have any final defense for your game? Like, give me like a sentence or like, I don't know, or like 30 seconds or something of your final defense for these games. Actually, you know what? Why don't you guys both just give me a minute again? Starting with John. And you give me a minute as to why Genesis is best, as in 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The Genesis version is the best overall because of its sense of humor and attention to detail. You really get the sense of characters from all the different characters that you're seeing. You get a sense of the movie. You feel a bit like you're watching the film, especially back at the time. There was really no game at the time that had professional film quality of animation, and that really stood out. It still lives up to this day. You can really say that about that game, and you can't say that about a whole lot of games as far as the visual quality, where it really looks like it's coming from the film that it was trying to emulate, especially as far as as far as the licensed game goes. It's a game that looks like quality. Yep, and it is quality.
Time. All right. So, what's your final statement on this, Jeremy? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I think the Super Nintendo version is definitively the best version because they didn't need no help from Disney animators. They just made it themselves. But not really. It's got a nice attention to detail. I think the monkey following you around is one of my favorite parts. I didn't see that in the Genesis version. The monkey doing all kinds of crazy, silly stuff like eating apples or pretending like when you're fighting the first boss, the monkey stand up on top of this building, like mock fighting. You know, they gave a lot of cool animations to him, and I love the backgrounds. I love the music. The genie level's superior, and the final boss is superior, as we've surmised. So, and what? I mean, come on, let's just be honest. It's a Super Nintendo game, so it's kind of better just because it's on the Super Nintendo, because bigger cart sizes and brighter colors, and for the most part, I think it's stood the test of time too, because SNES games, sprite-based games, generally do stand the test of time because they have a style to them that is timeless.
That's time.
So I would say
this is time. You went over. Well, it's hard for me to decide one or the other. It's basically like I wish that I could somehow put both of them together and come up with a better game. Like I would take the genie level from the Super Nintendo one and put it in the Genesis, but keep all of the keep all of the like Easter eggs and stuff from the Genesis, because I really like Easter eggs and the animation and all that, and put the boss in there and the monkey doing dances and stuff, which is pretty cool in there. But I guess I don't know if I could only choose one, I think I would have to go for the Genesis one, just because he has a sword and he looks better.
no.
Yay!
Yeah, so
I'll get you next time, John.
So I'll definitely do a playthrough thing for it on Trey's Retro Revival. Is there anything that I should look for aside from like the Mickey Mouse ears and the other stuff that's in there?
In the Genesis version.
Yeah, in the Genesis version, because I'm gonna do a play thing for YouTube on it. And I'm just saying, is there any sort of tricks that I should know aside from like cheats? I don't want any cheat codes. I just want to play it like the way it's supposed to be played.
Not that I can remember. Oh, jump on the camel.
Yeah, because he spits at people. I mean, I think I figured that out
fun to do.
pretty early. Yeah, because he spits. I remember that.
Yeah,
but I did order the Super Nintendo one, so I wasn't already decided on this from the beginning. Like I was planning on getting both of them, so I would play one or the other. So. But yeah, I say
so
for this.
You can give your honest opinion in another episode.
I can. I mean, I'll definitely give an update like now that I've played both of them. I think they're both great games, and it's cool that they're both good on both versions. And it's not like one that completely sucks and the other one doesn't. Like they both have their merits, but I think all in all, the Genesis one does look prettier because of animation. And I do like animation, and I like Easter eggs and all that. So it kind of won me over, even though it does suck that there's no Mode 7 in the ending. But whatever. But yeah,
it is kind of a unique happening in the history of video games. I don't think it would happen today.
We have two completely different versions, unless it's like
two completely different versions, right?
Well, unless it's like like the Wii did that, where there was like the 360 PlayStation 3 version, and then there was the Wii version that was a different game because it had to be because of the graphics and all that.
Sure.
But in this case, it was the same
system,
game. Yeah. It made by different companies, and I will agree that it seems like the having Dave Perry involved, he was a master of that, the humorous sprites and the animations and stuff back in the 16-bit days.
The waiting animations on Earthworm Jim, yeah.
I would absolutely love to play this. I don't have a Genesis. I want one, and they're not that expensive. They're one of the cheaper retro consoles to buy, actually.
Yeah.
But there's also this cart I saw at the Live Action Games in town where you can play Genesis games on the Super Nintendo. So I might also try that option.
You should try that out. Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, they had that, and it's like a newer developer that made it.
I mean, it doesn't have blast processing, but
that's true.
I think it's the same people who made the adapter to where you can play Game Boy Advance games on your Super Nintendo, which I was looking into getting for a minute, like before I got my Game Boy player back on the GameCube. So I don't know, but we're almost to like 2 hours on this recording, and I gotta like turn this thing around tonight. So I gotta edit it because I like to release everything on Friday. So I think I'm gonna have to put a pin in it. But thanks to both of you guys for having a good battle on the Aladdins here. We had a good showdown between Riff Raff and Riff Raff back and forth here. Street Rat, yeah, between Street Rat and Riff Raff. Is there anything that you're doing that you'd like to promote on here, John, before we sign off?
Not at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I will say, check out I'm going to have the second half of my Aladdin playthrough. I'll be posting that soon, so you'll get to see me fight the snake that we were talking about.
Yeah, I dropped 3 videos tonight that I made in anticipation of Splatoon 2. So if you aren't getting the game and you're looking for something to watch, I put like pretty much an hour of Super Mario Sunshine, Time Splitters 2, and Perfect Dark on there, which I think are all games that are somewhat influential to Splatoon 2. So if you want to watch me play those games, yeah, go for it. They're all on.
You use the sniper rifle you can shoot through the walls in Perfect Dark.
Oh yeah, I did. No, I did for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
glad to hear it.
I forgot how. I forgot how weird it is. Like how it like kind of eats the ammo, like when you reload it and all that.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like an organic gun.
Yeah, there's a lot of guns in. I mentioned the thing, but the Conduit had guns like that too. That like were alive and you had to feed them or whatever. But yeah, check those out at YouTube/NintenDomain Podcast. You can find us on iTunes and NintenDomain Podcast. We're at NintenDomainPodcast.com. You can email us NintenDomainPodcast@gmail. The keyword is NintenDomain Podcast. Just look up that anywhere and you can pretty much find us. But thanks for listening. We've been your hosts. I'm Trey.
I'm Jeremy.
And of course our guest John. Thank you for coming on again.
Thanks, John.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah, and anyway...
Even though you're officially my enemy now.
Oh.
No, just in regards to Aladdin.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah. And one more thing about Aladdin that I want to say about the Genesis one. The Carbit level is way faster than the Super Nintendo one. Like, I looked at it online.
Way faster, yeah.
Yeah, it looks way cooler. So, there's that one. But anyway, thanks for listening. Keep your... look out for riffraffs out there. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Well, hopefully you have air conditioning or you have somewhere to stay cool tonight.
AC, 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 BB, BB.
That's right. That's what I'm saying right now. I just typed that in, and then it gets cold out here.